Okay, what up, friendos? Welcome back to the cat den. Apparently, there's two blobs there. I don't know where the third blob is, probably on my windowsill. Today, we're going to be talking about, as usual, a company doing something really ill-advised and honestly hilarious. And of course, we're talking about Starbreeze, Overkill, or Starbreeze Studio, the company that makes Payday, which... honestly, when Payday originally came out, I was like, this is a really cool game. This is a really cool game concept. It was back at the beginning before everyone was like really oversaturated with these sort of perpetual DLC machine games, these live services. And then Payday 2 came out, and it seemed to be one of those cases where a developer sort of understood their audience and just took what was already successful with their game and just iterated upon that game. Unfortunately, what Payday 2 became was, like I said earlier, the perpetual DLC machine, to the stage where you can't keep up with these games if you're a regular person. Because if you're gone for a year of playing or whatever, which is how it's best to play these co-op games, is to go away, come back, you know, enjoy it for a couple of weeks or whatever with a group of buddies, and then come back again. Maybe there's some new stuff. Maybe you've just not played it in a long time. But when you come back to these games nowadays, you come back to 30 new DLCs, and you're like, well, I'm not going to show up and spend, you know, in some cases hundreds of dollars on all these DLCs just to enjoy a game I used to enjoy, and it puts people off. So with games like this, typically what you'll do is you'll either keep up with it year round, or you'll come back once they release a sequel. Payday 3 released, of course, and there was a huge drama about this game, one that I followed at the time because some of the content creators that are like my mutuals or whatever that I've had some interactions with were getting absolutely fucked on social media, which I shouldn't laugh about because I know sort of what it would be like to be in that position where your audience is very unhappy about something you've done, and the audience doesn't maybe fully understand what goes on behind the scenes, and also sometimes isn't aware that you've also been fucked over by the company you worked with. But what the drama was is that Payday company, we'll call it Payday company, Overkill, Starbreeze, whatever, had paid to fly a bunch of creators out and do this really cool launch rollout event where, you know, it must have been great to be a part of. It must have been amazing as a creator, but then you were obligated as part of this to make these sponsored videos where you were like, here's Payday 3, woo, Payday 3 is great, look at me playing the game. And the build that they were playing on seemed like it was stable and it was okay, and then the game released and it was fucked. And I've had this sort of happen to me in the past, so I do have some sympathy for it. It sucks as a creator when you play a game, you're like, oh, this game's pretty cool, but I've only been able to play it for like a certain amount of hours, even when you're not paid. It happened to me with Last Oasis. They gave me an early access key. I played in like a creator beta type thing about a week before launch. And when I played it, the game was cool, the game was fun, and the servers worked because there wasn't a lot of people on it. Then when the game launched, the game didn't fucking work, to the point they had to like stop people playing the game outright for like weeks while they worked on the servers. And there was people blaming me like, we bought this game based on your recommendation. Like, am I going to predict the future that the servers are going to just not work? Like, how can I know that when I'm recommending that the game is good and fun to play? Because it is at the time I'm playing it. So I have some sympathy, but at the same time, some of these creators had signed contract deals where they were not only releasing one like sponsored video, which always has its problems if you're doing like a review or a recommendation and somebody paid you, like it's an issue, of course, but they'd been contractually obligated to make multiple. Now, call me old-fashioned, but as soon as I'd have seen the reaction to the launch of the game, I'd have contacted them and been like, I'm not releasing another game for this video. Pay me half of what was agreed upon, but this other video isn't going out because it's so fucking bad and it's so tone deaf that it's not only going to fuck me, but it's also going to fuck you, but me probably more. But obviously that didn't happen, so a bunch of creators posted their second sponsored string of videos as if clockwork, and the game was already known by that stage to just be shit and not work, which was hilarious as sort of like a creator snafu. It's something that puts a smile on my face, because knowing what goes into these deals and stuff behind the scenes, it just sucks, but it is funny. But go on forward from that. Obviously, Payday 3 has been an absolutely conclusive failure, right? Payday 3, 1,200 players in game. The game released late 2023. I didn't even know it was that far back, to be honest, but that's a while to have not been able to fix the game. And it wasn't like this game didn't see like a sizable population of people that tried it, that you would think like if they did put a bunch of effort in, people wouldn't come back, because the game's not a million miles away from what Payday 2 is, so surely it's revivable. But obviously, instead of reviving this game that I assume they spent a bunch of money on creating, a bunch of time, and obviously paid a bunch of creators to try and make this game succeed with that big launch bash, the company has instead decided to fuck over all Payday 2 fans in the most spectacular, hilarious fashion imaginable for a company who realistically caught lightning in a bottle here with a game that still, Payday 2 is incredibly popular, as you can see if you go into the SteamDB for the game. There's crazy good numbers. It's really well received. It's been running for fucking over a decade at this stage, and it's just a perpetual moneymaker. One that this company probably doesn't deserve to have based on how they're now treating their audience. But instead of trying to fix Payday 3, instead of trying to like push this new game that they made, they decided to go back and just wait until everyone was distracted to just lop their cock out and just say, surprise, here's my penis. The way that they present this, posted a couple days ago, I bet this one wasn't on your 2025 bingo card. Payday 2, he's getting a subscription. Yay! Everybody clap. Oh my God, this is amazing. We're at the McDonald's birthday party. Who's going to ride at the front of the train? You're getting a subscription for your 12-year-old video game. A subscription for 12-year-old live service video game. Of course that wasn't on people's bingo cards, because they stopped playing bingo cards for fucking Payday 2 10 years ago, because the game's been out for over a decade. Nobody was thinking you were going to put a subscription into the game, because this is fucking stupid. But of course, the way that they did this is, it's not only that they put this in the game, because that would be, you know, stage one of being an absolute fucking imbecile working at this company, but they did it in the most shady, disrespectful manner that they possibly could, which is my favorite. It's my bread and butter on this channel, as you guys know. I love when companies do things that a fucking child that knows nothing about the world could read this business plan and go, yeah, guys, why don't we not do that? Why, the optics on this are so bad. Why don't we just not? But instead, these people did it anyway, because they're greedy as fuck and absolutely don't deserve the success that they have, that they've been gifted by having a game people enjoy. And what have they done to repay that enjoyment? They've tried to slip their cock in their ass. So how they did this, you know, they released a cool trailer. Oh, you can get 65 plus DLCs, one subscription for our 12-year-old video game, which is getting more and more common, by the way, not the 12-year-old video game part, but these DLC, perpetual DLC machine games. A lot of them are doing this, and honestly, it's crazy that people are going to pay for it, but I understand some fans. I even had this conversation with my brother, and I was like, this is stupid. We should absolutely not be supporting this practice. And he was like, yeah, but if I want to come back and play the next Paradox game and I just want to play for like a week or so, instead of buying like 30 DLCs, paying a subscription fee for like $15 for 1 month is actually not that bad. And I was like, yeah, but you do see by supporting that business practice, you are further incentivizing them to like release more DLCs, release higher priced DLCs, and to constantly essentially try to shove you into the lane of paying for a monthly service for what is a fucking single player game that they then release a new version of a year or two later and do the same fucking thing. It's really bad. But obviously you don't, again, expect this in a 12-year-old game. But obviously the worst part of this is that these motherfuckers sell a bundle, the infamous collection, where you can pay for and get all of the DLC, right? A lot of games do this, of course. You know what they did before they made the subscription service? They raised the fucking price of this bundle by 50%. They increased. But again, this bundle has been out for 2 years at this stage. This bundle was £100, £100, go forward, £100. Oh, it's on discount, £80. Then they upped it. Nothing else has happened. There's been no other DLC release in this period of time, by the way. You can literally look on the thing and see. Like, the last time they released a DLC for this game was in fucking June of 2023. So they added nothing new to this. They just arbitrarily, for I was going to say no reason, but we know the reason now, and it was, of course, malicious to fuck over their fan base, upped the DLC price like a month prior to just putting in the subscription. Why did they do that? Well, of course, it was to incentivize the already playing fan base of their game, or anybody looking to return to Payday 2, to start paying a monthly subscription to get the DLCs that they otherwise could have just bought this, again, expensive DLC, all collection pack. So the funny thing is that when they announced this, they also said something that's hilarious, of course. They said, "It should be noted that we are not changing anything, just adding an option for those who want it." No, you already had changed it. You'd already changed the DLC price to be 50% more expensive to try and sell people a subscription service for DLC for a game that released 12 years ago. This has, of course, resulted in everybody's favorite Steam activity, which is review bombing. People have been review bombing the shit out of the game to take the game from a recent, very positive to a 50% mixed. And of course, not everybody's going to be bothered by this. It is what it is. Some people are shit eaters. It is what it is. And realistically, if you enjoy Payday 2, you're probably not going to care about this. You probably already own the DLC and this is not a big deal. But at the same time, it does go to show the level of respect and the level of appreciation that these developers have for people who do enjoy, or could one day enjoy, or did and would want to in the future enjoy their games. And that is, we are just going to fuck you at every available opportunity. Just make an extra couple dollars, because instead of trying to make the new game work, where I'm sure they're still releasing DLCs constantly for what is a failing game, within a couple months of releasing, it was down to a couple thousand players from a 77,000 peak, despite the success of the name of Payday. They are obviously just absolutely milking the shit out of Payday 2 because the abominable failure of Payday 3, and seemingly they're not doing a very good job bringing it back because the game has largely not moved in population for essentially 2 years at this stage. So they did respond to the criticism and they said, we messed up, as if it was a shock, as if it was a surprise that this is something you shouldn't be doing. Starbreeze can at least recognize that it looks like it tried to push people who have been theoretically playing its game for a decade into buying a subscription, instead of making 2023's Payday 3 worth anything, and that is a bad thing. Or as Starbreeze head of commercial Gustav Nisser writes in a statement to game developer, the developer, quote, dropped the ball. The negative reaction makes complete sense. Oh my god, yeah, after we've seen it now, it makes total sense. We agree with the community. We messed up on this one, and we have reverted the price on the bundle effective immediately. It's almost like these people want the good faith and the ability for people to pretend that they are absolutely incompetent children whenever they do something wrong. But also to trust them that they're going to do things that are in your best interest simultaneously, which is hilarious because all these companies react the exact same way. It's as if they think you're an actual moron. They think their audience are stupid shit eaters, which, to be honest, some people absolutely are. Consumers just are that way. If there's something they like enough, they will just, grab a spoon and go into the plate no matter what it smells or looks like. And they do this every time you see a company do a boo-boo and have to do like a public apology, they use the same exact template for the explanation of what went wrong. And it was like, oh, it makes sense now, guys. We agree with you. Oh, we just didn't know. As if they're complete morons, as if they are actual idiots that just woke up one day with no knowledge of the world and just said, oh, why don't we do this willy-nilly? As if in these companies it doesn't take weeks of meetings and fucking planning to do something like this in the first place. As if it hasn't gone through all levels of leadership for this to happen to a live service that's been running for over a decade in the first place. They honestly think people are fucking stupid. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, how could they know that this was a bad decision? He thinks Starbreeze, quote, should have realized how it would seem. It's not how it seems. It's exactly how it is. What would be the reason to keep a DLC at one price for fucking 2 years and then 20 days before introducing a subscription service to raise it by 50%? What would be the explanation otherwise to doing this? Like, it's been that way the whole time. It's just, of course, hilarious that the tagline of this was, bet this wasn't on your 2025 bingo card, as if that was this little joke was gonna soften the blow, when in actual fact it's just pointing out that nobody could have predicted this because it's so fucking stupid and shameless. But of course, accompanying the shamelessness with also increasing the price of the DLC just goes to show the games industry is alive and well in facilitating some of the dumbest headlines ever. I thought cryptocurrency headlines were stupid, but obviously the gaming industry does give you a run for your money fairly often with companies like this. It almost reminds me of companies like Studio Wildcard, you know, the Arc and Atlas developers, where they just somehow managed to make some of the most interestingly funny, abysmal news for fucking over their fan base as consistently as possible, because they simply do not care. And because there's nothing else out there like these games, they can just continue to do it. And that's just how it goes. You make a product people like enough, and you can just grab their balls when they're not looking as often as you want, and they'll be okay with it. But anyway, that's the video for today. Thanks for watching. Check the links in the video description as always. Game subs if you want to go check out some affiliated merch and anime stuff and some drink powder. Their new drinks are actually straight fire. I don't know if they're actually selling them at the moment, but the carbonated energy drinks that they did, the cans, honestly, can't wait for them to be available in Europe because they fucking slap. Either way, use my code over there, get a discount, I get a kickback. Win-win, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe. Peace.